Because of this investment, we have the opportunity to strengthen the inn as a community service hub and expand outreach so that people can connect and get to help where they are without additional barriers. We will be able to make it easier for people to talk to someone when they need support most. We are also going to equip more local helpers with training in compassionate, trauma-aware care. And we are also going to enhance culturally safe care and local capacity to support our Indigenous guests at the inn on their healing and wellness journeys.
And the inn is so pleased to be part of an initiative that will add resources and focus to, quite frankly, a crisis with opioids that is directly impacting those most vulnerable in our community. To find longer-term solutions in addressing the opioid crisis will not only make homelessness a much easier thing to solve, which is our goal in St. Thomas, but also make our community that much stronger. These investments really show the intersection between homelessness as a housing issue, but also as a mental health and addiction crisis that's happening within our medical fields today.
Support is the key for my peers out there on the streets. They need support. They're critical and palliative from mental health and addiction conditions, which are medical. And they aren't really doing it to themselves. It's happening to them. You think of the trauma. Think of addiction as instantaneous for some addictions. With a community that will support them and reach out to them, such as putting up the indwell buildings, the non-traditional housing that the mayor and them decide to do, and putting a doctor in the field, it saves them. It saves their lives, actually.
So Oxford County Council has a pretty transparent and accountable budget process, and that starts with publishing the entire draft budget online, which happened a couple of weeks ago. So council then has time to pore over it and read through the whole thing. And then we have a few council meetings where staff make presentations and take questions from council so that there can be a more in-depth understanding of what the whole budget package is presenting. We're partway through those meetings right now. And then after that, we revert back to our regular council meetings where councillors would bring forward motions to potentially change that budget. And then the final vote is scheduled to be on December 10th. There is a deadline before that of December 4th where council can submit potential changes to it. And then that would all be published on a December 5th agenda, which again would be totally visible to the public if they wanted to see not only the draft budget, but what is council considering changing. But yeah, December 10th is our planned date to finally approve the budget. So the general levy increase right now is 5.1% is what residents would see if the draft budget was passed. But there's definitely some ideas out there about how to maybe get that down, but it's going to be challenging. Out of that 5.1%, 3% is basically due to inflation. It's just to deliver the same things in 2026 that we're doing in 2025. But also there's another inflation measure, which is the construction price index, which is generally a couple of percent higher than the regular consumer price index. And municipalities experience more of that because, of course, we build things, right? We pave roads, we build bridges, we build buildings, and we buy heavy equipment. And all of those things are generally over the last decade-ish are experiencing a higher rate of inflation. So the 3% is sort of, to keep doing what we're doing. And then so there's about 2% in there really where council could say, are these new initiatives or improvements to service level that residents actually want, and or is it worth that money, and or is this the time to do that?
We just launched our Nature Nearby campaign, and the goal is to raise $10 million to protect land in our community. We're aiming to protect 1,500 acres of land over the next few years to really build a thriving community where people have green spaces to visit, we have productive farmlands that support our food security, and to create opportunities for people to really connect with land and nature and spend time there. The funds that we're raising will go to support additional land protection. So that could include purchasing of land, working with landholders to donate lands to us, or conservation easement agreements, which protect lands long-term for their natural state or their farming operations. The other things that we do is when we protect land, we make a commitment to forever. So we take care of those lands long-term. So part of the funding will go towards our stewardship activities to take care of the lands and check on them, maintain trails and public access programming, so people can spend spend time in nature as well. So Thames Talbot Land Trust works across the City of London as well as the adjacent counties, including Middlesex County, Elgin County, Perth County, and Oxford County. So a lot of the people that interact with us and that spend time at our nature reserves are from all of those different communities. So our priority is to protect lands in all of those regions, and we work with landowners who are interested in doing those conservation projects as they arise. We also have strategic plans for where we would like to do certain protections based on amazing natural heritage features we want to see protected long term. But generally our focus is really to protect lands in all of those communities so that no matter where you live, you always have nature nearby. So this campaign is a 5-year campaign, and we are already started. So we are already have raised the 6.5 million of our 10 million goals. So we're really looking to the community to help support the last part of our campaign to make this vision possible. So we are hoping that people will support this work and help us get to that goal of 10 million and 1,500 acres in the next few years.
So this property is a privately owned property. It's owned by the BMI Group, and they purchased it from a local property owner. It's been vacant for decades, actually, largely vacant for decades. It's had a couple houses on it, but recently it was bought, and obviously they're developing plans for it. It was actually previously approved for a long-term care home, but then this new ownership group has decided to take it a different way, which is to introduce a mixed-use residential and commercial project here in the heart of downtown Tillsonburg. So they're going to have 2 residential buildings. They're going to be roughly 188 units across the 2 buildings, and there's going to be about 60,000 square feet of commercial space here on this frontage here. So right on Bridge Street, right across from the Station Arts Center, our heritage building in downtown. This is a big addition to downtown Tillsonburg. Town Council has historically invested a lot in our downtown. We relocated streets to keep businesses downtown. They invested in the 70s and the 80s in a downtown mall, as you know, supporting that huge development project at that time, which helped keep our downtown strong. So really, I see this project, the BMI Station District project, as the next step in the evolution of our downtown. So it's adding residential, which means your streets are going to be animated. There's going to be more shopping, more buying locally, and it's going to add commercial space, which is going to bring more businesses downtown. We right now have a shortage of space in downtown Tillsonburg, so this is going to be more commercial space to support more businesses and growth in our downtown. The developer actually is going to be having an open house in the first quarter of 2026, so coming up in the next few months, and they're really looking to see who's interested in potentially residing in these buildings that they're putting here. So there's going to be more information about that. Stay tuned, but definitely look for that developer open house in January to March of next year.
So the Canadian Fermented Foods Initiative is really a broad effort to try and, I think, ultimately to get more Canadians eating fermented food. And that goes sort of from one end of the spectrum to the other. So starts off with consumers, but actually also right through to having dietary guidelines on fermented foods. And there's a couple of pieces in between where we need to work out a little bit more around the health benefits of fermented foods and do more scientific studies regarding their benefits. So we've worked with a couple of local fermented food companies already, and we're just in the process of forming a fermented food hub, which will hopefully propel and allow people to develop and produce more fermented foods here locally. So we're really interested in establishing things locally as well as to the national level.
I think it is gaining popularity throughout North America. I think what's really neat for chefs is to allow the microbes that are present actually do the flavor making or flavor profiling, so we can create flavors in the kitchen that can't be recreated by humans, right? So we get these very complex, intriguing flavors just through simple fermentation, and then we take this ferment or any particular ferment, and then we can transform that using our culinary skills and really elevate flavor. And what I'm trying to do with my personal business also at the high school, where we're just trying to educate people, trying to get people to step into the past a little bit with some of these old practices, and seeing them become new again is really exciting. Yeah, and I'm just excited to share my skill set, my experience, and just to try to educate our country on all the different ways we can preserve and ferment food.